Thank you. Good morning, everyone. Welcome to this first of our three planned sessions, of our three planned Odin sessions for this month. Let's go to the next slide where I have a rundown of the three sessions that we have planned. The properties, which is the one today. Next week, we'll take a look at about how to finalize online surveys, because we have added a new feature in that perspective. And then the week after that, we have planned a academy about the new request command, which is a replacement for the get data command that we currently have. An example is being made for that request command right now. That isn't finished yet. I'm not sure at this point if that will be finished on time. So it might be that next week we will announce that we will reschedule that request, but more about that next week. Now, for this week's academy, as said, we'll talk about the properties. We already had an academy about the properties, so the first one will be a very quick reminder about what the properties exactly are, and then we immediately jump into the demo where I will demo what exactly we have added to using those properties to filter out large lists. Then we'll have a short recap, and as always, we end with questions. We split those. We split those academies in 3 ones because we wanted to have instead of a very large academy, we wanted to have several short ones. So expect this one to last about 15 to 20 minutes. Now let's start. The properties. Properties is set a property that you can set on either a survey, questions, or codes. On surveys, you can only set properties using the API, and it only has any meaning using that in your automation. Means that you can group surveys. You can set properties on questions. You do that in the script, but that has no meaning in the script. Those properties only have meaning in reporting, where again you can group questions together based on those properties. And then finally you can set properties on codes, and those properties you can actually use in the script. You can use it to see to what property a answer code belongs to, and you can use those properties to filter out lists. We have a property function for that. Very short reminder shortly for that. As said, I'm not going into detail here because we already have an Academy 15 manage long list in Enfield, and that exactly explains how to use that property functionality. So I'm not going to repeat that here. Instead, let's take a look at what we actually changed. And for taking that look, I will repeat very shortly one of the examples that we gave in that previous academy, and then show how we do that using the new functionality that we have created. So let's go to the demo. Escape. Yeah. Odin developer, and then I need to go to my first example, and as the title says, this one is using the old method. So the method that we showed in the previous academy. I will build a bit on what we are doing here, and then we will do the same thing and then using the new method, so you can see how this would change and why you would want to use that new method instead of this one. What we'll do here, we have a list of brands. I simply named them A till C, and we have properties, and the properties determine for which country this brand should be used. So we have 3 countries, the Netherlands, Belgium, and Germany. And if they are used in the Netherlands, it's simply NL is equals Y. The same for Belgium, the same for Germany. So those are the 3 properties for now. Then we have one question, which country, where we get a which country, from which country someone is, and then we only want to show in the real question which brands do you use, the brands that actually have a property for the country this person is from now. Therefore, we use the property function that we have here, where we get the property for the answered country. So this one will then return either NL, BE, or DE, and then we use that property to filter out the brand list. So this is the old method. Let's get a quick look if it indeed works by simply running this in the KT functionality. So if I choose the Netherlands, I should only get those brands with NL is Y in them. Now, indeed, that is so. So let's make this a bit more interesting. Now, what now if I'm not just interested in where someone lives, but in actually in where a person does his shopping? Because some of these people might be living near a border region, and they might either shop in either of those countries. So in that ways, I do not only want to have someone, I want to have the opportunity to have to give more than one answer here, and then actually filter on both these countries. That is going to be difficult in the setup. I have prepared how you should do this in the setup. So let's take a look at that, which is this one. We'll change this into a multi-question, but then because I cannot just simply have probe on second ones, yeah, I can probe on two, but that will always be an and. And I don't want an and here, it should be an or. So if I then want to do this, I need to create a repeat loop. But in that repeat loop, I need to create a repeat loop of 3 to loop over these countries, and then loop over all the brands, and then actually loop over this one. Does it belong to this country? Yes. And then I need to push that into a controlling index, which I then use to show the brands. Now, if I run this, see this works. If I do Belgium and Germany, it means that I shouldn't see any brands that are exclusive to the Netherlands. And indeed, I don't. Brand 1 is exclusive for the Netherlands. That one is filtered out because it doesn't meet our criterion. So this works, but as you can see, you need a repeat of 26. Then within that repeat, you need to loop 3 times over this question. And as most of you will be aware, as soon as you have a brand list of multiple countries, that brand list is usually not 26, it is hundreds, if not thousands of brands. And those loops can become very, very big. Let's add one more complication to this one, and let's then look at the new method. What now if my properties are even more complicated? So let's take a look at this one. So I now have a new complication in these properties. I also have a property which determines if this brand should be shown to all, or if this brand should only be shown to people 21 or older. For instance, because this brand is an alcoholic drink. Means that I need to have a second question where I need to probe if people indeed are 21 or older. And then again, I need to add a new condition here. Luckily, I can still do that in the same repeat, but it's a new condition where I probe whatever the property, whatever someone is older, is younger than 21. And if so, if the property that we have added to that index is 21 plus, and then I remove it from that index. Now, you can very easily see this grows and grows and grows the more complicated this gets. And we actually saw surveys where there were thousands of lines between questions, where people were doing this to set up this controlling question. And that also made those questions, that made those surveys flag in the metrics. They were all using extensive resources. So we thought, okay, let's see if we can figure out a better method to do this, which will not be so costly in the expressions that are used here. Let's take a look at that method. So let's do the same thing as we do here. Again, first filter the countries, then filter multiple countries, and then adding this complication that we do not want to show certain brands to younger persons. And let's see how to do that in the new version. So let's start with the easiest one, which was, no, this is the old one. It's the new one. So we have the same list. For clarity reason, this one I left on. I did not remove entirely the old method. I simply did comment that one out for this country. And what we use now, instead of that we probe this property and then fill a variable with the content of that property and then use that property here, I directly probe the property of this list. I simply say if property NL is Y in this list, then show it. Now let's run this. For this time, because this is the new method, let's run this actually in Enfield. So we'll see it working in Enfield. So which country? Now, again, let's say the Netherlands. And because I have coded there that I should only show NL, that actually is only showing NL codes. Now, I have hard coded this. If you saw this, I have hard coded that into this survey. So if I run the same one again and I choose Belgium, it will still show the Netherlands only because I have hard coded the Netherlands in here. So our expression here is not complete yet. Let's close this survey. So let's take another look at here. So what we actually need here is have an expression here that actually says, okay, only if 1 is answered here, you should show only the Netherlands. If 2, you should show only the Belgium, etc., etc. So let's see how to do that. That is okay, this one. So, no. Okay. Let's immediately jump to the multi then. So what you should do is this is the old one. Sorry, I'm a bit base 3. Okay. Now, what we should show, what we should use. I'm sorry, it's a bit confused in the number of surfaces. This is the line that you then should use. If Q1, remember what we do here between those square brackets is an expression. So we could use any variable that is available to the script, and one of those variables are those question numbers. So we could simply say if Q1, which is the Netherlands, then the property should be NLY, or if Q2, if Q1 is 2, that means it's Belgium, the property should be BA. If it is 3, the property should be DA. So this is filtering, and if you can see, we now immediately also have solved the multi problem. Because if this is a multi question, I have immediately turned this into a multi question. That will work as well. It will immediately do the multi correct as well. So this 2 problems I simply solve with this 1 line here. Now let's see how this works. Okay, the problem is that I did not copy and paste this correctly. So if I only choose the Netherlands, it should only show me the Netherlands brands. It does. And if I now choose the Netherlands and Belgium, it should show me all the brands from either the Netherlands or Belgium and not show any of the German exclusive brands. And indeed it does. Brand C is German exclusives, and indeed that one is filtered out. So that one line solves both those two problems, and it frees us of that repeat. That repeat, as said, that can become very big if you use a real multi-country brand list. Okay. And then finally, the last problem, we take a look at where we added a new problem where we said, let's also show either all to people older than 20, and let's only show the brands 20. Let's show the brands all to everyone. Let's show the brand 21 plus only to people older than 21. And that is simply for this one, adding a new condition where we probe Q2, which is the question where we ask how old someone is. And if that is 1, we show all. If that is not 1, and if it is 2, we show all, and we show the 21 plus, because these are the people that are older than 21. Finally, let's take a look at this one. So again, we solved this by simply adding a new expression in that expression line. So with country, let's say the Belgium this time, say 20 or younger, which means I should not see any brands. I should only see the all brands. I should not see any 21 plus brands, and that indeed is correct. And to make this complete, if I choose Belgium again, and then this time 21 or older, I should also see the 21 plus brands, and it is, and still not any brands that are not Belgium. So I should not see brand A because that is Netherlands only. I should not see brand C because that is German only. So that is what we have added, a line, a expression that you can add before you mention the list, where you can build the filter, and you don't need that those sometimes thousands lines of codes between those questions to build up your controlling question. Let's return to our presentation. So the new function, USELIST, and then between square brackets the expression, and then the list name, and that will filter out all the codes that meet this expression. That old method, that will still work, but do not combine those two methods on the same question. At some point, we will put a stricter cap on the expression complexity between questions, because as I said, the reason we created this new expression to filter out list is because we saw that there were sometimes thousands of lines between questions just to build up that filter expression on that filter. That is actually using a lot of resources. It is slowing down interviews. And there is already a cap on that, but that cap will be stricter on the amount of expressions that you can use. We will create a stricter cap. during this year. So if you see that you are using lots of lines between questions to build up that control statement, please start using the new method. Because sometime, somewhere this year, we will actually start forcing you to do this, because we are going to cap those expressions. Any questions, Art?
No, no questions so far. If anybody has a question, please ask them quickly, because we are wrapping up. So no questions so far.
Okay, then let's look at the final remarks. As always, recording of this session will be available later this week. If you have any suggestions for a topic, please write to your help desk, and we will take that into consideration. As already said, the next Academy is also a scripting problem of the month, and that will be next week, and that will be about how to finalize an online survey. It's very specific for online surveys, not for KP surveys. And one final remark, remember, you should update your Odin developer if you want to use those new features. And the version that you should be on then is this one, 5.18.0.26. That is the newest version, and that actually, as you already saw, that recognizes this new expression. Otherwise, you will get an error if you try to check this. Or if I now check this, I will not get an error. I can even run it in the KT client here. That will not be possible if you do not update your Odin developer. Any new questions coming, Art?
No, no, all was clear, Frank. No questions.
Okay, perfect. Then thank you for joining, and talk to you next week about how to finalize an online survey. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.